I got some sewing done and I got some yard work done. But, oh my God, something has stirred up these monkeys, something fierce. First, I get inundated with this dude that I've already had misgivings of. Pissed off that I spoke about, he said I attacked his wife because this Imaginarium or Imagination podcast, I said that I didn't trust it. And the dude just burned up my phone through Messenger and was sending me text after text and then sending me these 30-second videos where he was talking, but I didn't watch him because the dude didn't have his shirt on, and just knowing who I was talking to, I was just not interested. And I told him, dude, I stated my opinion. And the thing about it is that he's bitching about a 60-second short I did a month ago. And so after just fighting, it seemed like forever, I finally went back on there just to go see, okay, could I possibly be wrong? I clicked on several of the videos. I watched pieces of it, and this is my impression, giving it a second view, dealing with this idiot today. It spins around in just wonderful, just intriguing bullshit that doesn't go anywhere. And the biggest thing that I have with the website itself is that the videos get 5, 6, 7,000 plus hits when it comes out. No survivor gets a lot of hits on their shit because they maintain that. And so I've said that when they're getting a lot of hits and they're all out there and people, it's generally a honeypot. And I am more inclined to think, after dealing with this idiot today, I don't trust it. Several accounts the dude has came and left comments, and there was a plethora. This morning when I looked, I think there was 328. I just looked a little while ago, and there's like 400 hits. So people are just clicking on it, and it's just a short I did a month ago. But there are a couple things. There are several things that are happening. I just checked my mentions today, just now. And Tara Joyce just left this thing 8 hours ago where she's trying to connect me with Denise Matthau. And trying to say that I'm harassing her with Denise Matthau. Just, it is stupid. And I get mentioned, but it's like a community post. And she just, this whole thing. And it's all bullshit. I'm not working with Denise Matthau. But who do I get a fucking email from this afternoon? Denise Matthau. And you want to know what the title of Denise Matthau's email today was? Thomas Schoenberger has died. I'm sorry, but I ain't playing that game again. My stepmother played that game, and I ain't playing that game. And law enforcement isn't helpful at all, ever. Are you kidding? I'm fighting with my sheriff who hid a terrorist attack. They blew up a gas station to get to me. And so, I don't believe it. I believe that Thomas Schoenberger has died, just like I believe that Aquino committed suicide 3 years ago. And then I guess he resurrected himself because he just committed suicide in the last year. Again, 3 years later. Oh, sorry, my nose is just driving me crazy. And so, something has stirred up the monkeys. And I think that things are being investigated. That's what I think. And I think that people don't like to be questioned. I think that what they're pissed off about is that their honeypot is getting exposed. Because what they do is they make these websites and these people that go around who get a lot of hits and everyone knows who they are and all of that, because it draws survivors to them. And they will love bomb them, like give them donations, like this dude did to me. I just didn't know that they were all connected. It was never explained to me that it was all connected, that they were, it was never revealed until today who I was at. And it took a minute. I had to ask him who the fuck he was talking about and what was going on because of a video I made a month ago. God knows how many videos I've made since then. However, Tara Joyce is going crazy. Denise Mathau, who we are so not friends, you know? I'm as rude to Denise Mathau as I have been to Tara Joyce, as I have been to Thomas Schoenberger. And you know that they're disingenuous because you know they watch my videos. And anyone who has watched my videos can say that I have not been polite or any way nice to this group. You know? Paul Bonacci is not coming. Paul Bonacci is... He's not who you think he is. You know? He's not who you think he is. And so that's just it. They all want to play. All of their bullshit is starting to come out. And that's what they don't like. Because people are starting to look at them critically now. And that's all I wanted. That's... Tara Joyce started her little community post thing with, here's some critical reasoning for you, David. And Paul Bonacci was one of the people, along with Troy Bonner, who surrounded Alicia Owen, who was pregnant with then Chief of Police, Omaha Chief of Police Robert Wadman's baby as a minor. And they're the ones who convinced everybody that it was a grand hoax. They convinced a grand jury that it was all a grand hoax. And Alicia Owen was the key to breaking it apart when Franklin came out in the 80s in Omaha. And so the video that I did this morning was in relation to what I was dealing with this dude. So that's, if you watch the video this morning, then you'll know that's what I was talking about when I did the video. I had just dealt with that. And you know, for a channel that gets 6,000, 7,000 hits every fucking video, I went and looked, and my numbers, like I said, were a little over 300. And you're going up my ass for a video that was a short that was done a month ago that had 300 hits, but your channel gets 6,000 and 7,000 hits. That doesn't even make any sense to me. Why would you even care? You know? Why would you even care? But I just judging by the dude's the videos that he was sending me, because I never watched him, but I could see him in the video. And to say that dude has never done a drug in his life would be just the stupid. It would... The dude looked, and he was acting like he was on drugs. And the funny thing about it is that they all argue the same. Merlot. Cheap Merlot. It's $8.99 a bottle. This is my first glass tonight, probably be the only glass that I'll have. But I wanted to come on and just deal with today's events. Thomas Schoenberger is not frickin' dead. You know, he's not dead. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You know, and there was no proof. It was just all this conjecture from Denise Matthau. And of course, Denise Matthau is going to reach out to me. She was involved with me and trying to come down on me when I was at the SMART conference and all of that shit. And I just got done speaking about the SMART conference. That's what I say. They watch my videos, every word I say. I live rent-free in their heads. I am having a decent day, you know. I got something sewed. Someone gave me something and I ended up sewing it. And I worked on that. It's just, it's 1,000,000 degrees here right now. And so it's just ready for it's time for your booster grinder, boy. Okay, that's weird. I've never been on Grindr in my life. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, that's about what it is. It's like, it's in the middle to high 90s, but the humidity is so bad that they're saying like it's like 106 out, and we're not even supposed to be in this kind of weather right now. You know, this is September, August weather. It's not June weather. God only knows what it's going to be like in August and September. You know, oh my God, it's going to be horrid. But I had to stay in. I worked out a little bit today out in the yard, and then I just came in, sewed, you know, dealt with this idiot until I got irritated. I only blocked him for 24 hours. But I have a feeling that all of their shit is starting to collapse. I have a feeling that all of their shit is starting to collapse. And I'm just I think it is because they're acting like freaks, you know? Tara Joyce thinks that she's doing something by doing all of this and doesn't realize they're already watching me and investigating me. Are you kidding me? You know, they're gonna know if I'm involved with Denise Matthau, which I'm not, you know? The thing about it is that is their game. Like I said, Thomas will say that I'm in Tara Joyce's camp, and Tara Joyce will say I'm in Thomas Schoenberger's camp, or I'm in Denise Matthau's camp, or I was in Corey Daniels' camp for a minute. You know, and I'm not in any of their camps because I think all their camps are the same. They're all connected to the same shit, you know? This side has been at this for a long time, and they have control of everything. So all the people that you think are promotion and, oh my God, they're doing so well, the ones who are doing really well and are well known and are getting 6 and 7 and 8,000 hits to their videos, they're not real. They're not. Because the real ones don't get that. Isaac didn't. With the media, he had a presence, but at the end, they were clamping down on him. Lori King, they got her to take everything down before they neutralized her, and she was a huge survivor advocate. They got her to take everything down. They don't like anything out there, you know? And so if you see this group that's running around, and let me tell you, dealing with the dude today, oh my God, if I had any doubts at all, they were completely taken care of today. And that's what I said this morning. You know, spill the truth. I just give a shit about naming the child traffickers and getting the spotlight on them and exposing the shit. I don't give a fuck about what order does what things in what time of the year in when the sky is there and I don't give a shit about any of that. None of that shit is gonna fix anything. figuring out who the fuck is behind this child trafficking and then calling them the fuck out so they finally get investigated is the only way this is gonna work. That's how I see it. You know, that's how I see it. And the only ones who want to argue with me are the ones I'm calling out, who on their own volition sought me the fuck out. They sought me out, not the other way around. And okay, you know, okay. Shit, you can report him. Do, you know? I think that things are happening anyway. I think that things were already happening. See, the dude chased me down. He was he couldn't have been more than an inch and a half, 2 inches away from my bumper for well over a mile driving downtown, in town. Of course, I live in a small town, but it was, you know, through a stoplight. Of course, it was a green stoplight. The light was green. But the look on his face, I turned into the gas station because I was afraid if I turned down a residential area, he would shoot me. And I'm not kidding. The look on his face, he was angry. And, you know, I guess that's just a talent of mine because I seem to be able to make a lot of people very angry. And it's karma. That's just it. I figure if people start reporting the stuff that I'm saying, then maybe they will look at it. You know, maybe they will look at it. The CIA follows me around like flies. Yeah, they live right beside me, you know. And it's the thing about it is that they think it's all these CIA people, and what they don't realize is no. Those people just hire a bunch of fucking meth heads who don't have anything better to fucking do. That's how it works. You know, it's not like you have government officials. I have plenty of those on top of me as well. But the little minions, they're just fucking meth heads that they hire. That's how this gang stalking works. They just hire meth heads. And that's what it does. Yeah. I can sit at my house and do nothing and attract them. God just seems to want me here. You know, they are attracted to me like flies to honey. And I'm the honey. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But they have gone out of their way to seek me out. It's their own fault. And they always think that they're so superior, and they're so smart, and they're so just all that in a bag of chips. And I'm always considered a piece of shit. They always look at me as like I'm a piece of shit. But you know, I was half in and half out of sleep this morning, and that's when God talks to me a lot, is when I'm half in and half out of sleep. I'm kind of dreaming, but I'm not awake yet either. And what I was told this morning was, I'm a lion in sheep's clothing. And really, it wasn't even a lion, it was a tiger. That I was a tiger in sheep's clothing. Because I am able to get into the situation. Yes, Government Corp Watch. I have, and thank you. I did get that email. And I just haven't had a time to look at it. And I've gotten to the point where I just look at everything now. But the stuff that I saw was all stuff that I'm familiar with, and because I'm just going to glance over it, I'm already familiar and agree with a lot of it. You know, even the little summations that you wrote. Yeah, of course I'm going to publish that shit. You know, it's good for people to know because it's calling out names, you know, because our politicians don't live on fucking Mount Olympus. You know, none of our leaders live on Mount Olympus. They're just normal people who make business deals, especially as politicians. And they all serve the system. They're all, and the system, there are no Mr. Smiths anymore. There are no Mr. Smiths in Washington. They've all been bought out or blackmailed, either one. But they ain't gonna speak up, let me tell you. You know, William Barr, I think that William Barr, the reason why Trump has a hold on the Republican Party the way he does is because I think William Barr gave Donald Trump all of that information from Jeffrey Epstein. And so I really do. Yeah, blackmail is the currency. They will blackmail you. They'll blackmail you before they pay you off. You know, they'll blackmail you. The reason why I say that is because look at all these people who were, fuck Donald Trump, he needs to be out of office. And then they go to Mar-a-Lago, and right after they leave Mar-a-Lago, they're singing a completely different fucking tune. Every time. You know, what other reason would there be to explain it? You know, and Bill Barr was the one who raided all of Jeffrey Epstein's shit. That's what I think was in the safe at Mar-a-Lago. Because when Mar-a-Lago got raided, remember that the first thing Trump bitched about, and really the only thing at the very beginning that he bitched about, was that safe. And obviously there were no classified documents in that safe. They were in the fucking toilet and the hallway and the bedrooms and fuck the dining room and wherever else the fuck he had all of that classified material. So what was in the safe that he was so worried about? I think that's what's in Ivanka's casket on the golf course. Personally, none of our politicians are going to say this. They're all bad. Biden is just as bad. Biden is just, it's all who control them. That's just it. It's not them. They're just puppets. They've always just been puppets. They're the ones who pay the bills. You know, it's the one who pays the bills. That's who you have to be afraid of. And those people rarely change. You know, and they're all vying for control. And you think that we're voting on presidents and all of that shit, and yet they make all of their decisions in the Bohemian Grove. If anybody would look into the Bohemian Grove, they're not just killing kids and sacrificing a child effigy every year, you know? Right, those who pay the piper, well, the whole thing about it is they control the tune right now, but the reason why things are so fucking hot, again, is because we're being inundated with X flare after X flare after X flare, and our the magnetic poles are getting ready to switch. And because they're getting ready to switch, we almost have no magnetic poles anymore. Yeah, that's why I put it in quotes. Yep. Because let me tell you, the Pied Piper is not leading the children away at this time. It's leading all the motherfuckers who would hurt the kids. Let me tell you, that's what's getting ready to happen. Because it is definitely time to pay the piper. And the darkness is owed a price. And that price is hefty. It's a hefty price. We're at the end. We are at the end. And I know that, that things, every day I just get more and more indication that they're being investigated and they're scared shitless. They're scared shitless. The fact that Denise Matthau actually would send me Thomas Schoenberger is dead. They only get to play that card once. They played it with my stepmother. My stepmother was safe for a lot of years because I didn't realize that she was still alive until I was standing face to face in front of her at a restaurant. Didn't say a word to her. Didn't even stop because I was rushing to the table. I had to go get my order. But that card only gets to be played once. And so I ain't playing that card this time, you know? So I know, Thomas, you're watching these. You always do. Don't for a fucking second think I believe you're dead. Because I don't. Shit, I'm not even sure Aquino's dead yet, you know? But it doesn't make any difference. Again, with that Shadow Dragon program, and I have my sheriff by the balls. He'll do his fucking job this time, or people are gonna wonder why he isn't. I have him by the fucking balls. I am doing exactly what I said I was going to do. This time around, he'll either do his fucking job or I'll make him do his job. And the way to do that is to expose everything, you know? And so that's what I've been doing. And I'm not pulling any punches, and I'm not taking any hostages, you know? Have no interest. You want to stand in front of me protecting or defending or working with a bunch of fucking child killers, I'm gonna use my flamethrower and burn you to a fucking crisp. Because what Larry used to say is that I was a tank with a flamethrower, and what I did was that I burned stuff up, then I rolled over it, and then I would turn around and do it again sometimes. He loved that about me. I'm not playing anymore because everyone who plays their game loses. Everyone who plays their game loses. Up until now, everyone who played their game lost. But the rules have changed. That's all I'm saying, is that the rules have changed. And now, God knew that they ruled the world. So God is using the sun to just burn the fucking world away. What do they have if they don't have the world? You know, really, I don't know. There we go. What do they have if they don't have the world? If it's burned away to a crisp and then destroyed by wormwood, which is Beetlejuice, you know, they don't have shit. And the darkness is here to claim their souls, which their group already pledged to me when I was a kid. And then all I had to get them to do is bind themselves to me as an adult, and that was just making myself a threat. So they did all kinds of nasty shit to me. That's how it works. Believe me, if Thomas was dead, I would have got a notification. Exactly. You know, Thomas Schoenberger isn't fucking dead. It's just another goddamn game. You know? It's just another game. Because everyone's stupid. They're so smart and everyone else is stupid. But they're all criminals. And the dude that I was arguing with today, God, he looked like he was on drugs. He looked bad. I mean, I would cross the street to avoid him. That's just what I'm saying. And he was mad about me. And he was using the same shit that they had. You know, you've never helped any kids. You've never helped any kids. Well, maybe not, but don't count me out yet. Because I'm going to fucking expose this child trafficking shit. Because what Cappy was involved with was the real deal. It has been the pathway I have been looking for a long time. Because I couldn't get through with it with Doug Musner. You know? Because with Doug, he was so insulated. But Isaac Cappy was like a gold mine. Gold mine. They all sought me out. They all sought me out. And I'm very appreciative. I'm incredibly appreciative. Because I'm going to bust their shit open now. Because now I know where to go, where to look. That's what you need to do. You need to go and where to look. And their whole, David needs to be investigated. I don't need to be investigated. It's all a distraction. If you have a problem being investigated, or you think you don't need to be investigated, then you need to be fucking investigated. That's my opinion. You know? I know they're investigating me. I know they've investigated me for a whole long time. They ain't gonna find anything. The shit that they know is stuff I've told them. You know? And so they ain't gonna find anything. But so I'm not afraid of being investigated. And if there's nothing to find on these idiots, they shouldn't be worried about being investigated and looked at. But chances are, because they're too emotionally connected to the whole situation, that's what they don't understand is the weird thing. You know? Why would you burn out my phone and freak out about a short that was done a month ago that had 300 hits? It's not like I get a lot of hits. It's not like they let me get any hits on my videos. Fuck, 200, maybe 300 now. You know, it's not. I'm far from viral, and you have to ask yourself why, and it's because they don't want to be called out, and that's my only interest is calling these idiots out. It's my only interest. It's my only interest. I just I want this exposed, and it's the only way that I can think of that will do it. You know, all of this pussyfooting around, and I'm not talking about all of this bullshit that these groups want to talk about. You know, all of this, their program. I don't even know because I can't even fathom going there. I went to this imagination podcast thing, and what ends up happening is that normal people listen to that bullshit and then think it's such bullshit that they just dismiss survivors, and that's what irritates the piss out of me, because they think every survivor is fucking mental like that, and thinks most survivors don't speak up. That's what I'm saying. People don't want to be known as survivors. Nobody who goes through this shit wants really anyone to know because it's fucking humiliating. And right, I'm glad to hear that you're getting some hits. More than none is good. I will admit, more than none is good. Divinely right, don't judge. Those are the perfect people who want and need your messages. Survivors just need to know that there's people out there who are actively trying to hurt them, trying to draw them in. They love bomb them. They give you donations. They give you presents. Oh, they're your best friend. They get to know every little intimate detail they can possibly get. When you talk about it, they always want to talk about you. It's never them. You rarely know anything about them. They want to know all about you. And it's all fine and good and great until it goes down a ways. And then those people turn. And then they try to neutralize you. And that's attacking you. And they do that a lot. And they're not nice about it. You know, if they can push you over the edge to kill yourself, they'll do that in a heartbeat. They try with me all the time. You know, it ain't gonna work. I'd have to face God. There ain't no way I would face God. You know. Yeah, they must have posted me today because that one short video got 50 or 60 hits just alone today. And I published it a month ago. I didn't even know what they were talking about. I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even know what they were talking about. And the dude was crazy. He was crazy. And way too emotionally invested, and I couldn't tell if it was that he was a bad guy or if he was just on drugs. But then when I got the whole thing from Denise Mathau telling me that Thomas Schoenberger has died, you know, okay, you know, okay, you know, really? Stupidest thing I've ever heard in my I just it amazes me that they think people are so stupid. It it used to hurt my feelings that I would be, because I'd be pissed off. Oh, they think I'm so stupid. Why would they think I'm so stupid? But what I've come to the conclusion with is, who gives a fuck? They're idiots. You know, they don't have a clue. And my documentary is 364,000 hits. That was 8 years old, and that was my documentary. And I hate that documentary. We had so much more information in that, but we had filmed it so much way before Fiona had even filmed hers. And then Fiona came out with, what was it, Candy Girl? It was this amazing documentary. And I looked at my dude and was just like, really? So he put everything that you see in that documentary. We had filmed 70 hours in 4 days. I was exhausted. I mean, I'm active, but I'm not that active. We went all over Omaha, filmed for 70 hours in 4 days. What you see is the very end of that 70 hours, and I'm sitting in the graveyard that's behind my house at the time. And for whatever reason, I wore like a sweater shirt, and it was 1,000,000 degrees, and I'm sitting in the sun, and I'm exhausted. And you can just see the sweat like forming on my forehead. And it's so gross. And I misspoke. I was mad about it when I just bitched at him when we had that thing. Just to make it clear, my family, we're not connected to the Rothschilds, the Rathmans. That's what I meant to say. We're connected to the Rathmans. They were from Michigan. God, it took me a minute to think about that. Michigan. And like I said, a lot of my family, my father's family, owned Cassopolis, from what I understand. I've never been there, but so I was exhausted, and so it was not my best. I want to redo a documentary, but I want to do a documentary that actually is different than that. But it did, people like it, you know, that and my walking tour through pedophile Omaha, the old market, and then the Hummel Park one. People like those too, even though I'm really angry in both of those. But it was because I was fighting with FranklinFiles.net. That was when they had turned. They were my good friends, just wanting all my information, until they weren't friends anymore. Suddenly they were not even friendly, and they were attacking, and I was on the defensive. I don't go on the defensive anymore. That's what people don't like. That's what the guy today was bitching about. Because the argument of I'm mean doesn't work with me. I am direct. And I say whatever it is that I think needs to be said at the time. And you'll either answer what I say, or I'll just note that you're not answering anything that I'm saying. And that's this whole thing. Was the whole conversation today with this dude. He wanted to be the victim and nothing I could say. And when I was asking him details, he wouldn't, you know. I just think that something has, there's a hair up their ass or a bee in their bonnet or whatever. Because if you want to look at the whole situation, I just don't believe in coincidences. At this point in my life, with all the shit that's going on in my life, I just don't believe in coincidences anymore. Because what ends up happening is that it's coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, and they'll tell you that nothing is connected, and yet coincidence after coincidence after coincidence ends up becoming a pattern. And a lot of my family is connected to the Bible. Yeah, you know, I love They Might Be Giants. I love that. I love that group, you know? I was, one of the songs that I listened to a lot when I was a kid. Have you ever made any studies of synchronicity? I actually believe more in synchronicity than I believe in coincidence. So my answer to that would be yes. I have actually looked into the differences between the two. Because synchronicity, especially when you're working with heaven, everything just falls into place. And so that's how I know today something's going on that has stirred up the monkeys. Because it's not coincidence that all this shit happens, it's synchronicity. Everything is connected to everything else. And when you start to understand those patterns and be able to look at that, you have a much broader perspective of what exactly is happening around you. Because all of a sudden things are not coincidence. Because everything trips everything else. You know? Can I recommend Bash's views on synchronicity? It's so connected. Bashar's views. Will you send that to me in an email? Some of the stuff that you talk about, just while we're talking, just do an email and then just send it to me. And it could just be Bashar's views on synchronicity, because I don't remember when I get off here and I'm exhausted. I appreciate the email today because some of the stuff that I was looking at was just like, okay, well, I'm in interest. That's the cool thing is that some of the stuff that I'm rarely interested when people send me stuff because it's so outlandish and stuff I've never heard of. But the stuff that you sent me this morning, I just kind of briefly looked at it this morning because I had to deal with this dumbass on Messenger. But just reading the synopsis of what you had said, oh man, it was nice, IRS E18. I hate the IRS. It's all meant to enslave us. All of that shit is meant. That's exactly what I told Gub, aka Brad, on the phone earlier. I love these live views because I get and it's not just all focused on this crap. It's on this. I get a lot of interesting information on here that doesn't have anything to do with any of the stuff that I'm usually involved with. Like reading about the synchronicity thing. I would love to read about it. I would love to look into that and understand. I like stuff like that. I think that forewarned is forearmed and education is fundamental. I would just rather know the truth and be educated. And it's tangential and connected. Yeah, that is what's so interesting about it. That's why I just keep doing what I'm doing. Because it seems to be working. And it's not that I'm all that. It's just that I know that heaven is using me. And so my abilities to do what I'm doing right now, I might not have. If heaven didn't give me these abilities, I wouldn't have the abilities, that's how I kind of feel. And so I'm not going to take, it's not all about me. It's not about me at all. That's what my live video yesterday, when I ended that video, really asking people if something happened to me to not let this go, that actually had a profound effect. I went to bed thinking about that because are some of us that forge the way so that others can finish the task. And no, we don't just have five senses. And really, the most powerful sense that you have doesn't have anything to do with the five senses. The whole thing about it is that the understanding, that's what I really liked about. I appreciate the training that I got when I was a kid because it allowed you to be, it made me hypersensitive. And I do it in a way that is instinctual. was done to me at such a young age that I can't tell you how I do it because it's just how I've always done it, but I know it's because of the abuse that I suffered. And it is being connected because it's all, once you're connected, there's no way not to be connected. You know, it's really hard to connect, and especially when you grow up the way I did, it was impossible to disconnect. And you had to deal with it. That's the reason why when I talk about the dark, everybody thinks I'm talking about, oh, evil and all of that. No, but I had to stop running. Hey, Sherilyn. I had to stop running from the dark eventually because I would run and run and run, and there it was. And it was always with me. So I ended up having to go into therapy and actually deal with it and face it and go crazy by letting it embrace me for a minute. And not that I did anything weird or anything, but it is true. When you look into the abyss also looks into you. There's an exchange that goes on with that. And it's an undeniable. You can't escape it. But if you're not afraid of it and you have faith and you know that the word has protected you, you'll be fine, you know? Otherwise, you run from it, and the things that we run from control us. I told that dude today, dude, I'm not paying you rent for living in your head, because I'm not. I won't pay them, any of them, rent. I live rent-free in their heads. They think about me all the time, every day, I bet. More than I think about them. That was what I was irritated by with this dude, because it kept burning up my phone. And I kept asking him, don't you have anything better to do on a Saturday? You know? You have a wife that you're saying that you love and you're trying to protect, and yet you're fighting with me all over the phone. Don't you have anything better to do on a Saturday than argue with basically a stranger? You know? God, get a fucking life. Because I can't text on my phone and sew at the same time. It's impossible. I can't do it. Well, I could if I put my Bluetooth on, but, you know, charge him for an hour. That's what I should do, is send him a bill. I don't know. I'm exhausted. I'm not probably going to stay on here long. I'm at 47 minutes. But just fighting with this idiot, and then Denise Mathau sending me an email saying that Thomas Schoenberger has died. And and then have Tara Joyce Randolph just writing her stupid shit. Oh, well, I reached out to David, and 6 hours later, Denise Mathau reached out to me. Fuck, I don't know what you guys do. I don't know how you plan it. She did. She reached out to me on TikTok. Like I said, it didn't last very long. I eventually told her to just go fuck herself. Because when I found out she was running around telling, at the same time she's trying to befriend me, she's running around telling everybody I'm a fucking pedophile. She is. She's obsessed. But the reason, you have to understand why they're obsessed. Because they never thought they could be looked at. And that Shadow Dragon program where they can type in any email they want and get all kinds of information, like who actually owns that email and where it actually originates from. Because the Shadow Dragon program is designed to bust child trafficking open. And it's in Polk County. It's just 2 counties down. You know? 2 counties down. In Iowa, that drive is nothing. Shit, when we go out to eat, it's nothing to drive anywhere from 20 to an hour to go someplace to go eat. Because we live in small town Iowa. That's how it works. I'm used to it. I grew up with it. And it doesn't bother me. I like the countryside. It's pretty. But Polk County ain't that far away. And that Shadow Dragon they just didn't realize that they could, because they only need one to get a hold of all of the shit. And they have Pootie Twins and Andy Villa and Thomas Schoenberger, and I bet they're all connected. And I bet they don't like the fact that that program came out. I know they don't like the fact that I found out that program came out. I know they don't like that. You should pull a couple hangouts where you could get some callers up there to talk along with you. I don't know what hangouts are. You're talking to someone who's not. It takes me a while to figure out new technology. When I get into it, I can figure it out kind of quick. But it's that whole stepping on, that first step is where the name Pootie Twin came from. Is the guy a rapper? No, I don't know where the fuck the name came from. But they shouldn't have showed up at my house, or they shouldn't have taken pictures of my house and my town and went out of their way to let me know they were in my town when my best friend dropped over dead. It was just not the brightest thing to do. Thomas should be lucky he's not, because you know, Thomas is just Thomas. He ain't dead. There's no fucking way he's dead. Denise Mathau they're just all so full of shit. You know? They were able to do that with my stepmother, but the only reason they were able to do it with my stepmother is because I trusted my sister. And my sister was the one who was heavy behind that. And finding out that my stepmother was alive has done a lot of damage to our relationship. It has done irreparable, as far as I'm concerned, damage to our relationship. But I am only going to fall for that fucking game once. And I'm not doing it again. And it's just stupid. And I think I've said this over and over and over. The whole situation, what Terry Joyce is saying about Denise Mathau, I think is bullshit. I think they're working. They're each other's controlled opposition. That's what they are. I don't believe any of the bullshit. You know? So someone called her from a 712 area code. I get that all the time from these idiots. They know how to manipulate the phones. I don't give a shit. You know, what would I say to her if she answered the phone? Do you really think I'd be any less rude to her on the phone? I would probably be more rude to her, to be quite honest. You know, I would be more rude to her. So she's probably lucky I'm not calling her. But if I was going to call her, let's be real, I'd fucking live stream it and call her. You know? Shadow Dragon's nothing I work with. Many different dragons. Shadow Dragon is a brand new computer program that is police have, or at least the sheriff department in Polk County has, so other law enforcement has, but it's quite controversial because there's no privacy with it anymore. They can type in an email and find out everything about that email, who's completely connected to it. It's privacy laws are going to be violated with it, but at this point in time, I don't give a fuck. I want to use it and take advantage of it while it's still legal, you know? And Daniel Dowd has so many accounts. Pootie Twang is just one. Toxic masculinity is another. Clown sex sucks. That's Geo Farnsworth. You know? They shouldn't have gone out of their way to let me know that they were in town when Owen dropped over dead. Because I didn't take it well. And I still have not taken it well. And I'm making a fucking issue out of it, especially since my sheriff knew it was happening in real time. And I've lost patience with my sheriff. After the gas station fiasco, I don't play anymore. You know? And there's been And there's been tons of shit that has happened since the gas station explosion, just coming to Harlan. And so I ain't playing anymore, you know? And I have made issue out of it. And I know that people are looking into it, and I know that it's creating, and what's ending up happening is that their own paranoia is eating them alive. They're responding in ways that they just, they can't help it because their own paranoia is eating them alive. But that's what the darkness does. It uses paranoia to get you to do stupid shit. That's how it works. And so I don't even have to do anything. That's what I'm saying. I live rent free in their heads. They think about me constantly, probably every day, over and over and over, so much more than I think about with them. I can't think about them and so shit, you know, or do yard work, you know. Usually when I'm doing stuff, I'm thinking about God. And I think about heaven a lot. And I think about play Don't Be Rude, David. I don't know how to play Don't Be Rude because I am quite blunt. I think that's the Sagittarian in me. I think that's what my mom would say. You know, I think it's funny. I didn't so much think about it funny today because that dude burning up my phone was pissing me off. And then when I was already pissed off about that, then I get the thing with Denise Matthau and that. And then right before I come on here, I go on to my mentions just to see if anything mentioned. And then I get that whole thing with Terry Joyce Randolph. And I'm just, it's kind of irritating, you know? It's just kind of irritating. Yeah, privacy laws were broken a fucking long time ago. Then get into your phone and look at it real time. That's the reason why they're so damn dumb. They can probably look at my phone and see what I do real time. And it's not all that exciting. It's certainly not calling and harassing them, you know? And I have so much better things to do with my time. And I'm sorry that I'm focused on it tonight, but it's just been exhausting today. Dealing with this dumbass and then having people just inundate my channel. That one 60-second clip, short, where, oh my God, you know, if you find that all the shit that they talk about interesting, go. Good, great. Good. You won't go anywhere. You'll be entertained. You'll end up dying, and nothing will be ever dealt with or solved. But his arguments, and he's married to the person, I guess, that runs the thing. His arguments were exactly, you know, it's like they play from the same playbook. And it's like I asked him today, why do you all look like you're on drugs? You know? It's not like I don't know what drugs look like. Shit, I live in Iowa. Meth is a big thing here, you know? So you see, and then he tells me, oh, well, I'm a professional. Well, I can see that. You sending me videos with your shirt off. You know, my back is itchy, sorry. Oh. And I think my dogs need to go out. And this has been an hour. So I'm going to get off here, and I'm not even going to pray because I'm being inundated by a dog who seems to want to go out very bad. And she needs to go outside. Okay. So with that said, I'll probably come back and do another one of these tomorrow. And since it'll be Sunday, we'll definitely talk about, you know, better, way more interesting stuff. This time was just not, this was a bitch session. You know, this was a bitch session, you know. Government, send me that email about the synchronicity thing. I want to look into that. I think I'm going to lay in bed tonight and read about it. Sounds fascinating to me. And so I got to go before one of them has an accident. So peace, guys.